Titus says, I loved it when you threw shade on CalArt style in the Pow-Pow episode. That is not what I did. Can you do some Mao Mao living in the now? No, I can do that. But, you know, it's funny. I heard an interesting story about that a few weeks ago. That's from the friend of mine who wrote and boarded that episode. As I originally wrote it, it was just supposed to be that Mao Mao was acting out of character and he was acting a little bit like a sweetie pie. That was it. You know, that he was a little weird and kind of, it was sort of standard character-based plot, but we were going to go, you know, action-y with it, right? And it was this board artist idea to make it more overtly about, make references to other Cartoon Network shows. And it ended up being something I think that was really fun, but I think there, you know, a few people maybe took it as like serious critique, and I'm like, not at all. I know a lot of the people who work on those shows, they're great. I love those shows. If it's shade, it's like with an umbrella. It's the mildest possible shade you could possibly imagine at all, but it wasn't the intention. I think it was just a little bit of fun. And I think it would also be very easy to poke fun at our show too. So yeah, fun nods is more like it. But I heard from somebody who worked on the show that they asked this writer board artist, hey, what's that Parker guy got against us anyway? And she goes, oh, I wrote that one. And he goes, oh. And I said, thank you for telling him that, because for all I know, this other professional is going around thinking I'm some kind of jerk crapping on their shows for no reason. I'm like, not at all. Not at all. And I also know a lot of the creators and crew of those other shows, and they're fantastic people. I love them. Their shows are good. I would not do that. Anyway, all of which is to say there was someone else who talked to this same person who wrote and boarded that episode, who was like, oh man, I really loved that. I really loved how you guys, you know, took a swing at these other shows. And this person had specifically said, I love that Parker did that. And this person had to say, no, again, that was me. So I just... I think that's really funny, and I had to thank them for clearing the record. Either way, no. So yeah, it was a fun episode, but I wouldn't say that that was my intention at all. Yeah, I guess I will still very much do an impersonation of Young Mama. I think the funnest thing about that, real quick before I do it, is like when we finished it, there were people in house who were like, who did Mao Mao's who did like the Pow-Pow Mao Mao voice? And I was like, that was me. And they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Well, who did the song? And I was like, me. I sang that. Yeah, that's me. And they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, dude, I can. Yeah, it's not totally different from his Teen Mao Mao voice. He's just sort of like letting the bass out and going, all right. It's just sort of a bad impression of. My goal was to make it a bad impression of like early anime dubs. But if I don't make it into Shojin Academy, I'll never be a hero. It's that sort of thing. Oh boy, Darla's the prettiest girl. I hope she'll notice me. It's just stupid. Like, shonen protagonist dub voice. But it's funny to go from that to like, yeah, justice is served. And then go, all right. It's just, it makes me laugh. And anytime I did Teen Mao Mao, specifically going, all right, we'll be best friends forever, Pow-Pow. It just cracks me up because it's so stupidly obvious. Yeah, you know, again, the ukulele thing, that was not in the outline, and I remember seeing that pitch, and afterwards going, y'all are trying to get me in trouble. I was like, the point, I think, weirdly, I think the point of the episode came across clearer, but just to be 100% clear, the point of that episode is not, don't be like these people. The point of the episode is, be like yourself. Because as soon as you try to be something that you're not, you're going to cause disaster. And ultimately, despite the fact you think it will make you happy, it will genuinely, and in most cases, make you very unhappy. Because you're not being true to yourself. Most of the show, most of the episodes, that's the theme. Be who you are. And the interesting thing about that particular episode is most of the episodes revolve around Mao Mao trying to be who he is in spite of what his family wants, or in spite of what the hero code wants. That episode is about Mao Mao trying to be who he is despite what someone completely opposite of that wants. So just trying to make it as clear as possible that there's no one necessarily right way to be. We're not saying like, well, if he doesn't capitulate to his family, then it means we're saying he should capitulate to his friends. Or should capitulate to this totally other group of people, whoever that may be. And the answer is no. Wrong on both counts. You should be who you are, unapologetically. Obviously with some exceptions. If who you are is, eating people, then don't be who you are. That's bad. You guys get that. But that was the message, and I think that's fairly universal and simple. So, yay, we got a heart piece. Boom, we got our flippers. That I could all do mindlessly, thankfully, talking about this stuff. But yeah, it's just so stupid. The ukulele, that whole song was written by Nathan Jones. Yeah, don't eat people. That song was written by Nathan Jones. It was really good. He wrote a bunch of songs for the series. And I just love the stupidity of the lyrics. Might I call you Curtis? Huh? What? Just to rhyme with Hurtus. And then screaming, Curtis, no! Like, I can't believe they allowed us to have the cherry pie like flying. I think they only allowed us to do it because we had Muffin say, "Oh my, there's cherry pie everywhere." If we hadn't done that, I don't think they would let us do it. But that's a really stupid one. And it's just one of those ones where the sweetie pies are like horrible, terrible people. They're so awful in that. But it's fun stuff, and I really enjoy it. And it's a rare song from Badger Clubs. Badger Clubs had a couple... he had a few songs in the series, not many. I always liked it when he improv something, but his adorable little ukulele song that he's using to piss Mao Mao off was cute. And then I think the first time we acknowledged that the town really needed a fire department. Which it really does. I think there's some things that are still on fire. I love that by the time they come and visit in Small, that area they left on fire in Breakup is still on fire. I wanted to talk about that too, just because as somebody mentioned Smiling Friends earlier, they recently did something that we love to do on Mao Mao, which is have a one-off gag and then bring it back and make sure you know it's serious. I think they had Charlie talking about Alan bit his nose or sucked on his nose. He's like, yeah, I wasn't cool with that, man. I don't remember. Yeah, just letting you know, I just wasn't cool with that. And so I'm glad they're getting credit for that, and we did that a lot. But the show that I think really made that sort of a mainstay was Modern Family. They would do it all the time. They would introduce some character with an insane name as like a gag, and then a week later they'd be on the show. And I have always loved that. It's so good. That's right, I forgot about his James Brown song. I want a nightlight on, I get a nightlight on. He like threatens the guy. It wasn't planned for season 2, so I have no problem sharing this information, but there is when we originally did Ultra Clops, that original pitch, I can't remember if I talked about this before, but that original pitch was unhinged. It made no sense. It was just joke after joke after joke, and I just didn't have the guts to go through with it. I was like, nah, man, this episode has to make sense, and we've got to redo it. Hey, there's just 300 rupees. That could have come in handy. But because we got that main one out of the way, Griff almost every week would pitch, hey man, we got to do Ultra Clops too. And I'm like, I don't think we want to burn the few precious episodes we get on another on Ultra Clops again, dude. And he's like, yeah, but I got some ideas. I go, all right, well, how does it start? And he goes, okay, so they're just sitting around the house, and I don't know, Mama tells him to take out the trash, and Badger Clops goes, that's it, I'm getting big again. There was just no plot. I think the idea was that, Mao Mao would go, what are you talking about? Look, I'll take out the trash. It's not a big deal. And he goes, It's not really about that. I haven't stopped thinking about it. You remember when I got big? I really didn't get to explore that as much as I wanted to. I've got some great ideas, and I think if I had one more shot, I could really make it work. And he's looking for any excuse to do it again. And I think what he pitched was funny, but then I think his other pitch for it was that he really wanted Badger Clops to get small, and that he would live in the Technodrome toy from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And that he'd be getting in arguments with action figures and just living his life happily. Like, he'd be in a lot of confrontations because that's his character, but he'd honestly be much happier just being small. I don't know. I'm like, man, our show's kind of about something. It's funny, but like, we're almost always on theme. I have no idea how to make that work, dude. I have no idea.